All right, guys, this is the third part of the Syscoin series, and now we're talking about the Syscoin technology, Syscoin Layer 2. Syscoin is basically leading to Layer 2, the Layer 2 blockchain. And we have a lot to talk about because the partners, they started to implement Rollux, they're starting to focus they focused a long time ago on CK rollups, optimistic rollups. And now, Brett, it's time to talk about the Syscoin technology. I mean, it's a lot of things happen in the last 12 months. I mean, just let's go through it.
Yeah, sure. I think the last time I spoke with you, we were probably a month or two before our release of our EVM, which is called NEVM.
Yeah.
EVM, of course, stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. NEVM, which is ours, we call it the Network Enhanced Virtual Machine. It's network enhanced in the sense that it's inheriting Bitcoin merge mined security, a decentralized form of finality through our masternodes, et cetera. So that's why we call it NEVM. What also very recently, which was something that we announced last month during our time at Token 2049 in Singapore, is that our very first roll-up solution is now on public testnet. And it's referred to as Rollux OPv1. The very first version of our first roll-up solution. So Rollux, Rollux, that's a suite of roll-up solutions, essentially. So, and OpV1 is the first product in that suite, and it is optimism based, right? In addition to that announcement, we followed that up with, what was it, like between 15 and 20 announcements of different partners we have that are already building on our first rollup. Of course, Pegasus, which is our native DEX, they're already on the public testnet. You can check out Pegasus. I think it's rollups.pegasus.finance. Yeah. So there's an instance on our optimistic rollup. There's also ApeSwap, right? They're building on our layer 2 now. They announced that there was an interview with their guys and Alex with Syscoin, talking about ApeSwap, bringing some of their TVL over into Syscoin on layer 2. There's also Luxy that's launching as well on the rollup, which is our native NFT marketplace. I don't know if anybody's checked that out. If you haven't, you should. It's a very nice marketplace, luxy.io. zkcross is also launching on our layer 2. zkcross is a zk-based cross-chain bridging solution that should solve a lot of the security concerns that we've had with custodial bridges and things like that in the industry, where billions of dollars have been lost, over the course of the past couple of years alone. Using zero knowledge technology for cross-chain bridging, I think is going to be a huge improvement. So we're happy to be working with ZK Cross. Disto World is one of the metaverse focused projects. I'm kind of just going through my list here. So they'll be implementing a no-code launch for bringing NFT collections into the market and kickstarting their growth into a Disto World dedicated metaverse. There's also Mud AI, which is an award-winning team of game developers that are building a metaverse using Unreal Engine 5, which they have early access to because of their connections. So that's pretty interesting. They're interested in leveraging our layer 2. There's Build It Merchants, which is focused on kind of bridging the Web 2 and the Web 3 gaming industries. So there's a lot of GameFi kind of metaverse things going on, right? For our layer 2, which is ideal. It's really ideal to serve that, because in a game you can't be standing around waiting for your transaction, right? It needs to be lightning fast, and it needs to be incredibly cheap, if not free, which is possible with Rollups. There's also an interesting crowdfunding application. It's sort of a new spin on how to do a launch pad, but it's more crowdfund oriented, called Communion, that is launching as well. Ankr, we're happy to say that Ankr, one of our partners, that in regard to infrastructure, they provide enterprise RPC service for Syscoin. They're also going to be providing that for Rollux OpV1 as well. So there will be reliable RPC service there. And they're also working with us on a concept for decentralized RPC service, right? So one of the big things with Ethereum that people have complained about a lot is how RPC services seem to be centralized. Well, it's possible that with kind of a masternodes type model, that Ankr will actually implement decentralized RPC service. We had a sort of an intuition toward that, a while back, and wanted to achieve it. And we found that by working with Ankr and sharing our idea with them, that they were able to pick up on the idea really quick. And so we've been in communication with them about this idea of decentralized RPC, which I think that they'll handle very well. Also, let's see, Sysstables, Beefy Finance, which is one of the bigger protocols out there. With, I think, their all-time high TVL is 1.3 billion. They're building on Syscoin Layer 2 as well. KeyDAO, the creators of the algorithmic stablecoin MAI on Polygon, I believe it was. They're building as well. Let's see, Colnet, which is an interesting kind of launch pad focused on initial marketing offerings, which is a novel idea. Pretty cool. Them as well. Syspad, GitBlock, I think, is another infrastructure partner that's supporting Rollux. So yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, and there were some announcements in the days following about Samurai and some others as well.
Yeah. I mean, I was following Syscoin in the last years, and I mean the partners that joined in the last months, where it's absolutely insane. I mean, you mentioned Beefy Finance. Beefy Finance. I just checked the page a few weeks ago, and I'm using Venus, by the way, but they're basically the same. But it's fine that they're joined. And now layer 2 of Syscoin. Yeah, let's think a little bit about the future about Syscoin. Layer 2. How will Syscoin change the game? What do you think will change for Syscoin, for the whole ecosystem, and why Syscoin should be in the top 5 of the blockchain? Why is Syscoin so underrated right now? I mean, I'm talking about with a lot of people. And they say, hey, why should I join Syscoin? I mean, why, if they're so good, why they don't have 2 billion market cap? Why they're not better than Solana, right? So what is your response to that?
Yeah, sure. BitConnect had a really high market cap at one time. I mean, sure. No, but I do understand. It's taken a while to get to where we're at, and it's been a lot of looking for the idea, the pieces that will compose the ideal solution, right, to the challenges facing blockchain. That takes time. We didn't want to ramp up adoption. We saw that as being ultimately counterproductive to our bigger vision, which was to have a blockchain solution that could serve humanity indefinitely into the future, beginning with the appropriate architecture for that. Because of that, we haven't driven to have a whole bunch of projects launch on top of Syscoin up until now, up until more recently, right? So once we launched an EVM, we brought our EVM on board because we saw how it would fit beautifully within our modular design, where we could support scalable smart contracts through Rollups. Now that we have that, there's a lot more appeal. Syscoin has a lot more market appeal to protocols and projects that are building who would normally just go to Ethereum or something, right? So now that these pieces are in place, you're seeing more and more partners that are very interested in Syscoin and that are, like I just mentioned, a whole list of people building on layer 2. And we've had some of these partners for a while, and another question that sometimes people will ask is, well, you've had these partners for a while. How come we don't see as much activity on Syscoin as we would think there would be if there were so many partners? Well, it's because we've still been building the systems that these partners are focused on launching on. Right. So we have to have the infrastructure in place. It's largely in place now. Our first rollup, as I said, is on public testnet, and they're building on top of that, preparing to launch for when that goes to mainnet. So the pieces are coming into place. It's taken a while, by design. It has taken a while, but grow. You don't want. It's just like a business in the sense that you don't want to grow too fast. There's healthy growth and there's unhealthy growth. Growth in and of itself is not necessarily a good thing. It needs to be healthy growth.
Yeah. So actually, we've covered the Syscoin. I mean, the technology, the partners, layer 2, and maybe you want to tell us a little bit about Rollux or ZK rollups, optimistic rollups. Just to finish this third video, and then we're going to head into the Syscoin future plans. I mean, there's a lot to speak about: metaverse, Web3, smart cities, etc.
Yeah, sounds good. So, with Rollux, which is Syscoin's suite of rollup solutions, we essentially have a rollup agnostic perspective, right? We feel that optimistic rollups and ZK rollups are both highly relevant. Ultimately, we have our eyes on ZK as far as the long game. We feel that zero knowledge cryptography for scaling computation and for client side proving, even, which is something even further off into the future than ZK rollups. Really, ZK, is a huge part of the future and has a lot of implications. But at the same time, optimistic rollups are a little bit more proven, a little more market proven, and they involve less computation, overhead. There's some benefits to optimistic rollups, and in the immediate, they're a lot more performant even than we think ZK will be once ZK solutions begin to hit mainnet. Optimistic rollups will likely be a little bit faster and more performant for a while to come until ZK matures a little bit more. So this is the important side of why we are rollup agnostic, so to say. We think that we want to kind of look at both technologies and provide the best of both. We want to bring those worlds together, which is a tagline of Syscoin. Just like we brought together Bitcoin and Ethereum, the best of both of those in one network. We look towards layer 2 or layer 3 technologies, if you will. And we want to provide the best of those, and even maybe combine them in the future if there are use cases where some combination of attributes of optimistic and ZK rollups create some new synergies. We'll do that as well. Our first rollup is an optimistic rollup, and we'll be looking to implement ZK based rollups as soon as possible as well.
Nice one. I'm really looking forward to see the new technology of Syscoin. I mean, we're heading to layer 2. I mean, the technology is fascinating. Layer 2, it's actually, you can scale it. It's fast and it's secure. I mean, by Syscoin and the Bitcoin and the Ethereum network, it's insane.
Yeah. And speaking of Syscoin in particular, one of the reasons Syscoin is really important for people that want to blockchain in a modular way is because of the security and the decentralization that we're providing to support rollups. All rollup technologies, optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, are starting out as more or less centralized technologies I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I'll, I just want to make sure this part is captured. And that's, this, people need to understand that starting out, rollups are largely centralized technologies. They're more on the centralized side of the spectrum. And that's what makes the layer one, choosing the right layer one to support your rollup, even more important. Because if you're beginning with something that's kind of centralized, at the very least, you want it to be settling on a layer one that is as decentralized and secure as possible. So that your rollups are inheriting, your rollup users are inheriting that layer one security. So that's another way that Syscoin is very important in this market.
All right. So I think we've covered the technology of Syscoin heading to layer two. Just stay tuned on that, syscoin.org. This is the homepage of Syscoin, and check out their Twitter, check out their Discord, and all the other social medias. If you have any question, just put a question in the comment section, so we will answer all your questions. Okay, so now we're heading to video number 4 from our Syscoin series. We're talking about the future plans. So I think let's start with that.